The dreaded wall. You'll encounter it in every project you do.
Okay, I think I got the thumbnail.
But don't let that stop you from making plans.
Today, I want to talk about scheduling and how not to waste time like I just did. So last night, Rachel and I were watching 30 Rock, and there was this scene where Tracy Jordan suddenly remembered that he had this biography due the next day, and he had completely forgotten about it. I suddenly remembered that I was supposed to write up this blurb. I know it's a really boring topic, but I think it's really important so that you don't do stuff like me and forget that you're supposed to do certain things.
First thing on deck today is wrapping up the inks on yesterday's page. Now, I normally like to wrap things up by the end of the day. I just wasn't able to yesterday. There's this other concept of working where you leave just a little bit of work, about 10-20%, and you leave it for the following day. This way you get your momentum going with something that already has a pre-established guideline. All you're doing is following the path and executing.
So when it comes to scheduling, I use the whiteboard as my general roadmap. I kind of have sections on it, and sometimes it feels a little bit redundant, but it helps me visualize where I need to go. So I've broken it up in 3 sections. One is the overall schedule, kind of showing how many days of the week. I'm only scheduling work to be done during the weekday. The second section is kind of the day's plan, where I write down what my intended goals are for the day. And then the last section, that's where my stats are. Those are what's finished, and it's categorized between pencil, inks, and colors.
When you're making a schedule, it's important to understand and know what your limitations are. As for how many pages that is, typically most editors and clients, they prefer 1 page a day. That's 1 page of pencils, maybe 1 page of inks as well. The important thing is when you put something on the board, make sure that you're creating achievable expectations. Don't set yourself up for disappointment, unlike I did, because clearly all of these plans that I'm creating, completely unrealistic.
Even though Try had reminded me the day before that they needed the blurb today, it just slipped my mind. So I'm just about to sit down and read a PDF of the OGN and the graphic novel. And I actually read the first 30 pages while I was drinking coffee at home this morning. He told me it was a breezy read, but you know what? Within those 30 pages this morning, I smiled, I chuckled, and then I was honestly choked up. And it's good. It's really good, and it sounds completely fake because he's my studio mate. I'm a legitimate fan of his work. Him and Irma produce some really high quality stuff. Anyway, so I'm gonna read this thing, and then I'm gonna write up a quick blurb for their book. Book's really good. Thank you. That's it. We had an entire conversation of how good it was. I just didn't want to film it because I didn't want to put you on the spot.
Midway through the day, I was feeling pretty accomplished. I finished the page from yesterday, and I also finished writing the blurb for Try and Irma. This kind of gave me a false sense of accomplishment. Really, I've assigned yesterday's accomplishment to today. So I made a pretty crucial mistake of touching up yesterday's pages. This is only something you should really be doing when you have plenty of time. I mean, I'm glad that I did, but try to avoid going backwards.
Lastly, when again I'm talking about extreme redundancy, I also have a to-do list here. This part I tend to write on every day, but the whiteboard thing, I will sometimes kind of just completely pass it. I'll look at it as a general roadmap, but I'm not as good at filling up that scoreboard and making sure it's up to date. Although I should. That's my basic scheduling habits that I do. Everywhere I look in the studio, there's something reminding me of what I need to do. And while that can be overwhelming at times, to me it's really important because I feel like I'm a bit of a scatterbrain.
A scatterbrain and a knucklehead. There's this concept of how making plans can make you feel good. You get this scheduling high as if you've already acted on those plans. Whenever you verbalize your intentions, sometimes you lose that edge of executing on those intentions, and scheduling can feel this way. Now, I've set up this schedule to be 18 working days, no weekends. But I think my plans are gonna have to change. In order for me to get through this mental wall, I'm gonna have to go into intense work mode. My weekends are now open game. For as long as I've been doing this, you'd think I'd learn to better anticipate this wall coming. The truth is, the wall always changes appearance. It's not always a struggle. I'm not sitting around from lack of ideas or inspiration. It's the little things that get to you. Micro procrastinations that appear productive. Sometimes the wall comes in the face of a welcome task that you think is moving the chain forward, when realistically, all you've done is taking a lateral step. I'm gonna have to be more efficient with my time. I'm gonna have to think of better ways to work faster.